Hello, everyone, and welcome to our March GEG Utah Meetup. I'm Eliza Lyons, and today we are going to be talking to you all about Google Forms and showing you some innovative ways to use it to increase engagement in your classes. But first, we have some announcements. Kelly, over to you.
Yeah, sure. Okay, so the first one is that URSA, which is the Utah Rural Schools Association Conference, will be held this year in Park City. And it's the first time that it's going to be in Park City. And it is July 9th through 11th. So right now there are proposals that are open and they will be due on March 31st. So coming up quick. So if you feel like you want to present, and I heard a rumor that Jim Knight is the keynote, he's going to be there, a coaching guru in our very own state of Utah. So sign up to present, or you can also register for the conference. And then GEG Utah, we're planning on doing some of our presentations there as well. So if you're planning on coming, come see us. The Teacher Fellows is starting a new cohort in the fall, and applications for that is due on April 13th. And Teacher Fellows is a great way to just kind of advocate for policy and just be a presence for educators in Utah. And then the UTTLN, which is the Utah Tech Leaders Network, is also accepting applications and nominations for next year. So basically, if you are a tech coach and you're interested, then we'll share these links with you and you can sign up and get information, and just a way to build your coaching and leadership skills and also your tech skills. And then Eliza, do you want to talk about Ed Camp Northern Utah, which I heard is now being called
Yes.
Top of the Utah Ed Camp?
Yeah, so that's going to be held here in Ogden at the Weber Innovation Center on April 26th. And it's actually my first time both leading and participating in an ed camp. I've never been to one before, so initiation by fire. But it should be a great time. We'll have lunch. We'll have a lot of fantastic discussions that are kind of driven by the group. And yeah, we'd love to have you. There should be some more information coming out about that soon.
Perfect. And I love ed camps. Like there's always good food, and it's called an unconference because there's nothing that's really planned. You just come in with ideas and then people facilitate groups and talk together. And it's just a great time to get to know people and network. And then our last announcement here is that UVU is doing their second MakerCon on October 10th and 11th. And if you're interested in presenting for any of those things, then applications for proposals are due on June 2nd. So there's still a lot of time, but if you are interested in like 3D printing and STEM and making things, then this is the conference for you. It's so fun.
Awesome. One thing I forgot to mention, these are all linked. So if you want to click on something, make sure to open up the slide deck by going to this bit.ly in the top left-hand corner, and then you have access to all of those resources.
So we just thought, since USET was last month, but it feels like a long time ago, that we would do some of our recap of our presentations and just say how it went. So most of us entered the demo slam. And the demo slam is just a way to get Google certified educators throughout the state to share some of the new tools that are coming out. And Google's got new updates all the time, it feels like. And we're excited that our very own Eliza Lyons was this year's winner. Ian usually wins. So, this year it's nice to see a new face, kind of. I mean, still the same district, Ogden for the win, right? Ian, did you want to say something? You look like you were gonna jump in.
We've got to keep our streak going. Ogden is going strong.
Maybe next year Jordan will get it, right, Deanna? You never know.
We might allow it. We'll see.
Yes.
Hopefully.
Yeah.
Kelly will come up with an amazing one.
It's about time. It's time for my win. Just kidding. But more than anything, it's just a fun way to see what Google tools are out there and get to know different people in the state. Then the other one that we did was an AI and accessibility presentation, which you can find on YouTube. And we just featured some things that Chromebooks can do, like screen readers using Chromebox, and just different AI tools that make learning and classrooms just inclusive and accessible for all. And then Ian, Deanna, Eliza, you guys want to share anything else that you did that people might want to look up?
One thing I do want to mention is that, like, just like on the previous slide, there are links and things. These slideshows and videos are embedded in here. So if you want to kind of click through these demo slams, you have access to all of the little videos, and they're all pretty short, like what, 2 to 3 minute videos. So you have all of those resources in there that you can look through to get ideas of how to use Google tools in new ways.
If you go to the USET YouTube page, there is also a whole playlist of a bunch of the pre-recorded sessions as well. So Holy Sheets is one of the pre-recorded ones. So if you want to go back and watch through any of that, you can as well as a bunch of other great sessions that were pre-recorded for USET.
I've heard lots of good things about Ian's Holy Sheets sessions. A lot of good things.
It's a crowd pleaser, Ian.
Every
I don't
year,
know if you're aware, but
people
It
like
is.
ask,
It really
is that
is.
one guy coming back? That one guy? Because I need to know his
the
stuff.
Holy Sheets guy,
The
you need to wear like a toga or something.
I love that idea.
Get the beard really long.
Yeah.
All right. Anyone have anything else to add before we dive into Google Forms?
I was just going to add, this is like Eliza did the winning presentation on Google Forms. So this is exciting that this kind of is like building on what the winning demo slam was. So
The champion concept.
yes.
We'll go over that today. Okay, awesome. Well, let's go ahead and get started then. So a lot of cool things to talk about. I'm going to go kind of fast because I want to kind of touch a little bit on everything. So feel free to pause the recording and play it back, or speed it up, slow it down as you need to. First, we're going to start by looking at how to use Google Forms for assessment and receiving feedback. So this is the more kind of traditional way that Google Forms are used, but we'll still touch bases on it. We'll look at how to create a quiz in Google Forms, insert those survey questions, and how to receive feedback. Next, we're going to dive into differentiation. So we'll look at how to use Google Forms to kind of tie in student choice and differentiate our forms based on different criteria. And then we'll end with a fun kind of escape room gamification type thing, where I'll show you how to turn a form into either a choose your own adventure or a breakout room. So here we go. I want to start by asking the group here a little bit about what they know in terms of Irish culture. So they actually already filled this out, full disclaimer, but we are celebrating St. Patrick's Day all month long, and maybe even a little bit in April too. Let me pop over to that form. So like I said, Google Forms is a great way to assess your students or to kind of get to know them a little bit better in the form of a survey. Here we have some different questions. And one of the things I love about forms is that you can kind of tailor them to fit your own needs. So you see that we have this nice banner, and this is just provided in the themes in the header section. There's a whole bunch of different templates you can use. You can change the colors, you can change the font, so you can make it your own. Another thing I like is that there are a lot of different question types. So here we have kind of the standard multiple choice, but you can also do short answer. You can do check boxes for multiple options. You can have students upload a file, rating, which we'll get to in just a minute, so on and so forth. So lots of different ways that students can respond when you are assessing them. You can also make certain questions required or not required. And then if I scroll down, so these first few questions are kind of assessment questions on what do you know about Irish culture? But then down at the bottom, we have some of those kind of poll or feedback questions. So favorite Irish food, this is an opinion-based question. Rating of a movie, this is that infamous Google Forms ratings where they can give it so many stars or hearts or likes. That's up to you. So a good way to both assess your students as well as just kind of poll the classroom and get to know them, get to know their individual preferences. Then if we wanted to turn this into an actual quiz, we would go over here to settings and click this little toggle that says make this a quiz. And again, different options here you can play around with. You can make it so that your students can see the questions that they answered incorrectly. You can let them see how many points they earn. You could set the default point value for each question. And yeah, so once you change that setting, then we pop back over to our form. You'll see that it'll have this little answer key option. So there we can select the correct answer. So the correct answer to this question is HARP. And then we can change if we want how many points that's worth and click done. So this can save you a lot of time. It is self-grading, and then you can choose when you want to have those grades released to students. And then the last thing I want to show you on this particular form is looking at your results. So I like how Google Forms does a great job of showing you that data, giving you some averages, showing you maybe what questions were missed more frequently, what students did well on. So this will help you kind of go back and reteach those concepts that students aren't quite getting. And then in regards to our survey questions, we can see here that nobody in this group likes black pudding, so maybe we don't offer that at our parent-teacher conference event. That's a stretch, but you see where I'm going with it. So really good way to just kind of get some feedback from your students. I really like using this strategy to get some feedback from my students after like a unit or after a term or a semester to just kind of pick their brains a little bit about what assignments worked well for them, what teaching strategies worked well for them, what they enjoyed, so that I can improve my own instruction. Okay, so that is Google Forms for assessment and feedback. Next, we're going to look at differentiation. So I'm going to ask the group here, what are some different ways that students like to learn? How do they take in knowledge? And think about those modalities of learning. Any thoughts?
I think like for me, like I like looking at things like visually, but some students also like auditory, where they hear things like a podcast or like a video. So there's just different ways that like I guess that they can interact with the learning concepts.
Awesome. Yeah, totally agree. So we have audio, video.
Like students like to do things as well. Maybe it's an experiment in science or a hands-on STEM activity or something like that too.
And
Absolutely.
another thing that students like to do is they do like to have choice. So they like to have some autonomy over what it is or the way that they're learning. So that's another big thing.
Great. These are all excellent ideas, and we can incorporate all of these ideas into a Google form. So let's pop over to a new form. All right, so on this form, students are going to be learning about St. Patrick's Day history. And so I've just kind of got a beginning question in here. Choose one of the following options to learn about the history of St. Patrick's Day. And we're going to list out our different modalities of learning here, so the different ways that students can learn about history. So we had like an audio. I'm just going to put listen to a podcast, maybe read an article, do an activity, do a hands-on activity, and watch a video. Okay, so to incorporate student choice, now we're going to use the kebab menu and go to section based on answer. We don't have any sections right now, so we need to build our sections. So we're going to click this little add section button, and we want to add a section for each of these different options. So just to keep things organized, I like to title them as I go. And I'm just going to do one just to show you for sake of time. And then what we do in our initial question is go to section based on answer. So this is how we link our answers to our sections. So listen to a podcast, we're going to link it to section 2, which is listen to a podcast. So students that pick that option are going to be bumped down to section 2, where we can then put a link or an audio file for them to listen to. And then we would create sections for each of these different options. So in the article section, we'd include the article. In the hands-on section, we might include instructions for them to do some type of an experiment or hands-on activity. And yeah, this is just a great way to let students be in charge of their own learning. You don't have to do it like this. I've seen it done where the different topics are listed. So maybe instead of listing different modalities of learning, I have different events in Irish history, and they can choose what event they want to learn about. I've seen it done where there are different ability levels, beginner, intermediate, advanced, maybe for math, or if they answer a question wrong, it sends them to a section where they can do some relearning about that specific concept. So there's a lot of different ways to differentiate instructions just within a single form. Anyone have anything to add before I continue?
I really like using forms for like choose your own adventure, or you could even do like 20 questions. Like I made one that was like, is it an animal, or is it a plant, or is it like alive or not? And like have them go back to different sections or go forward to different sections. It's just kind of like fun ways to get them trying a form.
Absolutely. I love that idea, especially the 20 questions. I think it's just a great way to like do something new and exciting for students. A lot of them get tired of doing this. I mean, just like us, we get tired of doing the same thing over and over again, and it just helps to kind of mix it up and make it more exciting. Awesome. Okay. So speaking of gamification, it is time to break out. So in this last little section, I'm going to show you how to create an escape room with a Google form. And we're going to start by just going through one as it looks like for a student. So as a group, we are going to try to break out of the St. Patrick's Day themed Google form. So this one is set up to answer different riddles and quiz and puzzles to find a pot of gold before the leprechaun returns. We'll need to find a series of clue codes to unlock the final treasure. I can't read today. So we'll go ahead and just click next. So we have different riddles to answer. To start your adventure, what is the answer to this riddle? So what is always coming but never arrives?
Tomorrow.
Excellent. So if let's say I put in the wrong answer, like let's say I put in yesterday, it says nice try, but nope. Okay, so we want to put in the right answer, which is tomorrow. And that was right. So our first clue is a shamrock with a number on it. The number is 3. Okay, so just keep that number in mind. You're going to need it later. The next clue, what has an eye but cannot see? Give you a hint. You're like making a thing.
A needle.
A needle, very good. Clearly I don't sew because I don't know if that's how it goes, but in my head it does.
I honestly think it's like a dying art. Like I hardly know anybody that knows how to sew anymore. So I think
It's so
Deanna's really good
sad.
at it though.
Okay, the second number is 7. So again, remember those numbers so far. Next clue, it's a rainbow. It's full of what is full of holes but still holds water?
Oh my gosh, I know this one. I read it on a Laffy Taffy wrapper or something. Popsicle
Yes.
stick. It is a sponge, right?
Let's see if it's right.
I hope it's right. I hope it's right.
It is right. Yep, it didn't tell us otherwise. So we'll go ahead and click next. Okay, so our next number is 9. So far we have 3, 7, 9. And then here is a limerick with a final number. I'm not going to read it to you because I can't read today. But shout out the number once you have it. And try not to overthink it.
It's 4.
4, excellent. Found that he had 4 folds. Okay. And it does say to type out the whole number. So we're going to write it out instead of putting the actual number. Good. Okay, so enter the full 4-digit code. We have 3794. Submit, and then it says, congratulations, yay, we found the leprechaun's pot of gold, and we broke out. Okay, so that's what this would look like from a student's perspective. Let's take a look at how to set one of these up. So this is the form itself, and very similar to what I showed you in differentiation. you set up different sections. Okay, so we start with kind of our initial storyline, whatever that might be. Maybe it's like an Egyptian tomb or a haunted house or whatever you want the story to be. You can add pictures and all that fun stuff. And then you add different sections. So you want to add a section based on each of your clues, essentially. So in real life, you'd probably do this to like match your content. So I was a biology teacher before I started doing DTL. So I might build one of these off of like mitosis or cell division. They work really well as like an end of unit or end of topic, either assessment or getting ready for testing or anything like that. So I'd have like a content related question in here. And then the way that you get it to kind of give you that response validation is through these three dots down here, and you check response validation. Okay, so I just turned it off. It does have to be in a short answer form. This won't work with any of the other answer types. So it has to be something that they're typing in. And then three dots, response validation. And you can have it be a number. I chose text. And then you put what the correct answer is. And then this is where you put what you want it to say if they get it wrong. Sorry, that's wrong. Please try again. Smiley face. Okay. And so if they get it wrong, it's not going to move them forward to the next section. Once they get it right, it will move them to the next section and they can continue. So in this way, you can have them kind of get instant feedback on their response with that response validation. So they know they got it wrong and they can't proceed until they get it right. One of the other really important things with this is your confirmation message at the end. For me, that's just like the best part because it's like you broke out here, like here's your reward. And you can do that under your settings, under presentation, and it's this confirmation message right here. And then if you just click edit, you can change that to say whatever you want to kind of end your little story. But that is breakout rooms in Google Forms. Like I said, it's a great way to kind of wrap up a unit or act as a study guide or even an assessment. You can also do this as like more of a web quest where you have different links to different sites where students have to like analyze a page or read an article and find a clue, find a code word or something like that, and then come back to the form. So you can have it link out and go all over the web. That's up to you. And another kind of fun thing I wanted to mention with this particular form, I had Google Gemini create it for me. So I can show you what that looked like super fast. Let's see. So this is a different prompt that I just put in just right before this meetup. Create a Google Form escape room to assess students on mitosis, include a fun story that has a haunted house theme. So that's my prompt. And then Gemini gave me pretty much everything. It even gave me like a setup. It gave me the storyline, the introduction, and it gave me each of the different sections as well as questions to include. So
first I
pretty
have
impressive.
to say, hope you don't mind I jump in. I love the haunted house idea. I think it should be haunted house all year round because I love Halloween. But also too, I made this bracelet the other day. Zodiac is not Gemini, FYI, but I'm obsessed with Gemini. So I love your idea. Gemini is the best. Thanks for sharing.
Yay. Oh, I love just kind of pushing Gemini's, like pushing the limit and just saying like, what will it do? Like, will it do this for me? And most of the time it does. So that's kind of cool. I mean, you don't know unless you try. And I love that. I love how much it can do. And obviously always like go through it. Don't just like push this out to students. Clearly you want to go through it. You want to vet it, make sure like all the answers are correct and whatnot, and make it your own. But it's definitely a really great starting point. Just as a little wrap up here, I wanted to ask the group a couple of questions that are in line with our theme for this year, which is innovate and cultivate. So first of all, what is your favorite Google Forms feature?
My favorite is the file upload option. We use that a lot for like uploading certificates after professional development, or there's a lot of other ways you could use it too. You could have students submit like little documents or things, and it's a great way to kind of collect those files right in a Google form.
Awesome. I agree, especially if you're having students do kind of some of those
Mhm.
hands-on activities. It's a great way for them to like take a picture of the model they created or the experiment that they did or whatever and upload it.
For littles, one of the funnest features I like is the way you can take and add images to your responses that you want the students to check so that they have an image in the word right along with it. So you can add your images along with it. So that's what I like.
Awesome. Yeah, and that's a great scaffold for any student, really, especially your littles, your English language learners. It's great all around. I love pictures, so I'm always a fan. And then our next question, what's your favorite way to use Google Forms with students?
I think kind of like Ian mentioned, like the adult learning piece of it, I do really like using Google Forms ratings to get like survey data. And I know like especially this time of year we talk about survey fatigue, right? It's a real thing. So that's why I was so excited about your demo slam and those Google Forms ratings, because it's just a really quick way for students or teachers to like leave just a 5-star review, 4-star review. You could just be like, hey, rate this and then tell me why, and make it a really short survey, but that data is really impactful.
Excellent. I agree, especially like at the beginning of the school year or something, you're just trying to know your kiddos. It's a great way to get that feedback. Anyone else?
Yeah, I love to use it to create those quick breakouts or choose your own adventure type things with the section breaks because it lets you take the curriculum and put a fun spin on it for the students.
Awesome. Thanks, Tiana. Yeah, I hope that was valuable to you all, and I hope that you're excited now to try and create a breakout room or choose your own adventure, and just use Google Forms in a new way. So, thank you for joining. I want to leave you with one quick joke since we're still celebrating St. Patrick's Day. What kind of spells do leprechauns use? Lucky Charms.
I love it.
All right, we will see you all next time.
Thanks. See you next month.
See you
Bye.
later.
Bye.
Bye.